My friends, the greatest secret of life is closer than your own breath. Every word you whisper within yourself shapes the world you walk in. The conversations you hold in silence, the inner dialogue you repeat, these are the seeds from which your tomorrow will grow. If you will dare to speak to yourself in a new way, even for just 3 days, you will watch your world rearrange itself before your eyes. Recognize the power of inner speech. My friends, I want you to pause for a moment and become aware of the most constant companion you have ever known, your own voice within. That inner conversation, that silent stream of words, is not a background noise. It is not something that drifts without consequence. It is the hidden script of your entire life. From morning until night, you are engaged in dialogue with yourself. You argue, you explain, you justify, you imagine, you relive the past, you rehearse the future. But here is the truth that most of the world has not yet grasped. Those words are not harmless. They are creative power in motion. Every sentence you accept within, every phrase you repeat, plants a seed in the soil of your subconscious. And from that soil, your world springs forth. Think about it. What you are living today, much of it, you once spoke about silently inside yourself. When you feared lack, you spoke of shortage. When you longed for love but felt unworthy, you spoke words of rejection. When you believed you could not succeed, you rehearsed the voice of defeat. And life, like an obedient servant, arranged itself according to your inner commands. So the very first step is recognition. To awaken to the fact that your inner words hold authority over the circumstances of your life. The world outside of you, with all its seeming solidity, is in truth a mirror reflecting the speech within you. This is why so many remain trapped in cycles they do not want. They change jobs, but not the inner story. They change relationships, but not the inner dialogue. They change houses, cities, even countries, but they carry the same voice inside. And so the pattern repeats. But here is the good news. The moment you recognize the power of inner speech, you are no longer a victim. You stand at the doorway of transformation. Because if you can talk yourself into defeat, you can also talk yourself into victory. If you can speak words of despair, you can also speak words of hope. And if you can imagine failure, you can just as easily imagine triumph. Let me tell you this. Your inner conversation is the law of your life. What you accept as true within, your world must reflect without. It cannot resist. It cannot argue. It cannot delay forever. It must obey the master voice you carry in secret. Now imagine standing on a stage addressing the crowd of your own thoughts. Which words will you give them? Will you let them shout confusion, fear, and limitation? Or will you take the microphone of your mind and declare a new order, a new vision, a new reality? This is your responsibility. No one else can do it for you. I am not asking you to fight against the world outside. I am asking you to master the world inside, to take hold of the conversation that has shaped you for years, and to reshape it consciously, to say to yourself, from this moment forward, I will no longer argue for my limitations. I will no longer defend my weaknesses. I will no longer describe myself as poor, lonely, or defeated. I will speak only of the life I choose to live, the future I decide to have, the self I dare to embody. Some will say, but isn't that just lying to myself? No, it is telling the greater truth, because what you are speaking now is not imagination only. It is creation. The moment you declare it within, you are setting in motion the unseen forces that must bring it into being. Think of the seed in the soil. The seed does not appear instantly as a tree. It works in silence, beneath the surface invisible to the eye. But given persistence, given time, given nourishment, the tree must emerge. Your inner words are those seeds. They will not always show results at once, but if you continue in them, if you water them with faith and repetition, your harvest is certain. So I say to you, examine your speech. Listen to what you are saying when no one else hears. Is it a conversation of power or a conversation of weakness? Is it a dialogue of abundance or a dialogue of lack? Is it the voice of one who commands life or one who suffers at its mercy? Step 1 is recognition. But recognition is not enough. You must also take charge. You must become the director of this drama within. You must rewrite the script until the actors of your imagination speak only in harmony with your desired end. Let us make it practical. Tonight, before you go to sleep, pay attention to the words that rise within you. Do not let your mind wander into regret or fear. Instead, gently, deliberately, begin to whisper to yourself the life you choose to live. If you desire health, hear yourself saying, I am strong, I am whole, I am vibrant. If you desire success, hear the voice inside declaring, everything I touch prospers, doors open before me, I am favored. If you desire love, let your inner speech say, I am cherished, I am chosen, I am deeply loved. And as you say these words, do not speak them as though they are far away. Someday perhaps. Speak them as if they are true now, in this very moment. Feel the weight of them. Taste the reality of them. Let your heart know that these are not wishes. They are facts being established in the unseen. Do this not once, but over and over, morning, evening, throughout the day. Whenever your mind is free, return to this dialogue. Let it become the new language of your inner world. And soon you will see, the outer world has no choice but to echo the inner one. Remember this, nothing enters your experience that you have not first accepted in your inner speech. So guard it well, make it noble, make it worthy of the life you long to live. For 3 days, begin with this step alone. Do not worry about how things will change. Do not strain to see immediate results. Simply focus on changing the conversation within. And I promise you, you will begin to notice a shift, small at first, like the first green shoot of a seed breaking the soil, but persistent, undeniable, and unstoppable. 3 days of conscious inner speech can turn the tide of a lifetime. 3 days of speaking to yourself as the person you wish to be can awaken a new destiny. So take this step seriously. Recognize the power of inner speech. Become its master, and watch as life bends to the voice you have chosen. Truckers, stop arguing with reality. My friends, once you have recognized the power of inner speech, the next step is perhaps the hardest for many. You must stop arguing with the evidence of your senses. You must refuse to bow before the circumstances that surround you. For all your life you have been trained to trust what you see, to believe what you hear, to surrender to the facts that press upon you. You look at the numbers in your bank account and declare, this is who I am. You see the condition of your body and say, this is my truth. Now you feel the absence of love and conclude, this is my destiny. But let me tell you something radical. What you call reality is nothing more than the outpicturing of yesterday's thoughts. What you see today is the shadow of conversations you held within yourself days, weeks, months ago. If you continue to argue with it, if you continue to treat it as the final word, you are condemning yourself to repeat it. Stop arguing with reality. Stop defending what you do not want. Stop giving energy to the evidence that keeps you bound. Imagine for a moment that you are looking into a mirror. The reflection you see is wearing a coat you despise. You do not want it. You do not like it. Would you stand there pointing at the mirror shouting, why are you showing me this coat? Change. Give me something new. Of course not. The mirror only reflects what you are wearing. To change the reflection, you must change yourself. And yet, how many people do exactly this with life? They see lack in their outer world and they shout, complain and argue. They say, look at my circumstances, look at my suffering. But the outer world is only the mirror. To change it, you must stop wrestling with it and begin transforming the inner image. The argument with reality is a trap. It keeps you chained to the very condition you want to escape. Because every time you say, this is too hard, this is unfair, this is impossible, you are rehearsing the old story again. You are clothing yourself once more in the same garment of defeat, and the mirror of life faithfully reflects it back. I am asking you to do something bold. When the world presents you with evidence that contradicts your desire, refuse to engage, refuse to argue. Simply say within yourself, that may be what appears, but it is not what I accept. I know who I am, and I know what is mine. Some of you may think this is denial. It is not denial. It is higher vision. It is refusing to be hypnotized by appearances. It is remembering that the unseen is greater than the seen, that the invisible cause is always more powerful than the visible effect. Let me give you an example. Imagine a man who desires wealth. He looks at his wallet and sees only a few notes. He checks his account and finds it nearly empty. If he argues with reality, he will say, but the money is not here. How can I pretend otherwise? Look at the facts. And so he continues in poverty. But if he stops arguing with reality, if he dares to accept within himself the feeling of abundance, if he walks and speaks and thinks as one who is already supplied, then his inner speech begins to shift. and soon the outer world, like clay in the hands of the potter, reshapes itself to match. The same is true of health. A woman may look at her body and see weakness. She may hear the diagnosis of illness. If she argues with it, if she accepts it as final, then she chains herself to that condition. But if she stops arguing, if she begins to speak to herself as one already strong, already healed, already vibrant, then her inner world changes and the body, that faithful servant of the mind, must respond. The same is true of love. A person may feel rejected, abandoned, alone. They may see no evidence of affection around them. If they argue with reality, they say, "This is who I am, unwanted, unloved." But if they stop arguing, if they begin to speak within as one cherished, one chosen, one deeply loved, then the mirror of life brings new relationships, new expressions of affection, new demonstrations of love. Do you see? The trap is always the same. Believing that what is visible is permanent. The liberation is always the same. Remembering that what is invisible is stronger. Now, how do you practice this? Because I know when the bill arrives, when the pain strikes, when the loneliness creeps in, it is not easy to dismiss it. So let me give you a method. The next time reality confronts you with something you do not want, pause, take a breath, and instead of arguing with it, declare quietly within, "That may be the shadow, but it is not the substance. I accept only the truth of my desire." Then turn your inner speech at once to the vision of what you choose. If it is money you lack, imagine yourself checking your account and seeing it full. If it is health you desire, imagine yourself moving with strength and ease. If it is love you seek, imagine the warmth of affection surrounding you. And as you do, speak the words within yourself that match this new picture. Everything I need flows to me with ease. My body is whole and radiant. I am treasured and loved. Refuse to engage in any other dialogue. Do not say, "But how? But when? But where?" Those questions are the old argument. They keep you in the prison of logic. Stop arguing. Simply accept. Simply speak. Simply persist. Understand this. Reality has no choice but to bend to the authority of your inner word. The outer is the shadow. The inner is the substance. Stop fighting the shadow and master the substance. Let me repeat it. You do not need to resist. You do not need to force. You do not need to struggle. You need only to stop feeding the old story. Withdraw your words from it. Withdraw your attention from it. Refuse to argue. And then deliberately, persistently, lovingly, plant the new story in its place. Do this, and watch. The world with all its seeming rigidity will begin to soften. The facts you once thought immovable will rearrange. The evidence you once feared will dissolve. Doors you never imagined will open. And what once looked impossible will appear inevitable. My friends, this is your power. To stop arguing with the shadow and begin speaking the substance. To refuse the voice of defeat and accept only the voice of victory. To turn away from appearances and declare the unseen as real. For 3 days, practice this. Whenever the old reality confronts you, smile at it. Acknowledge it as the past, and then turn your inner speech to the future you have chosen. Do not argue. Do not resist. Simply replace. Simply affirm. Simply persist. And you will discover something extraordinary, that the world outside of you is far more pliable than you ever believed. That circumstances are not chains but clay, that reality is not a tyrant but a servant, and that your inner word is the command to which it must always bow. Stop arguing with reality, and reality will stop arguing with you. It will surrender. It will yield. It will conform to the voice you have chosen to speak within. This is the second step, and it is the doorway to freedom. Step through it, and the world cannot remain the same. 3. Create a new conversation. My friends, once you recognize the power of inner speech, and once you have stopped arguing with the evidence of the old reality, you are ready for the most creative step of all. You must deliberately create a new conversation within yourself. Do you realize that most people live in a constant monologue of the past? They carry on the same old stories, the same old fears, the same old doubts, over and over again. Their inner dialogue is not fresh. It is a broken record, repeating what their senses already tell them. I am tired, I am stuck. Nothing ever works for me. I don't know how to move forward. Life is against me. These words may not always be spoken aloud, but they are spoken silently, unceasingly, within. And what happens? Life simply reflects them back, again and again. But you have awakened to something greater. You now understand that your inner words are not bound to the past. They are free to create the future. You no longer need to echo yesterday's failures. You can compose tomorrow's triumphs. You no longer need to replay what was. You can declare what shall be. This is the power of creating a new conversation. Let me tell you this. Your imagination is the stage, and your inner words are the actors. If you allow the old lines to be repeated, you will see the same play again. But if you write new lines, if you cast new characters, if you speak a new script, then the play of your life must change. So ask yourself, what do I truly desire? Not what do I fear? Not what do I lack? Not what do I dread? But what do I choose to bring into my experience? Health, wealth, freedom, joy, whatever it may be, begin at once to build a conversation around it. Suppose you desire financial freedom, then let your inner speech be the talk of someone who is already prosperous. Imagine yourself speaking with ease about your abundance. I am supplied. Everything I need flows to me. Opportunities open effortlessly. I always have more than enough. Let these words roll within you until they feel natural. Suppose you desire healing, then create a conversation as one who is already whole. My body responds perfect. I feel strength in every step. My health is radiant and complete. Life surges through me with ease. Repeat these words until they feel like the most natural truth in the world. Suppose you desire love, then let your inner dialogue reflect the joy of one already cherished. I am loved deep, I am treasured and chosen. Affection surrounds me. Every day I feel the warmth of companionship. Let these words echo in your soul until you cannot imagine life without them. You see, the new conversation is not wishful thinking. It is the blueprint of your future. It is the declaration of what must soon appear. Just as an architect first draws lines on paper before a building can rise, you must first draw lines of speech in your imagination before the structure of your life can change. Now some will say, but I don't feel it yet. It doesn't seem true. And to them I say, of course it doesn't feel true at first. You have rehearsed the old story for years, perhaps for decades. Your mind is accustomed to those lines. When you first introduce a new script, it feels unfamiliar. But do not mistake unfamiliarity for falsehood. Persist, and what was strange will become natural. Persist, and what once felt impossible will feel inevitable. Here is the secret. Feeling follows repetition. Do not wait until you feel it to speak it. Speak it until you feel it. And when you feel it, the world outside must bend to match it. So let us make it practical. Take a quiet moment each day, morning, evening, whenever you can steal a pause, and deliberately hold a conversation with yourself about the life you choose. Do not merely affirm a phrase like a parrot. Engage with it as though it were a living dialogue. Hear yourself saying, I am successful. Then imagine a friend responding, I can see it. Everything you do prospers. Hear yourself saying, I am loved. Imagine another voice saying, yes, you are radiant, and people are drawn to you. Make it rich, make it alive, make it a true conversation. And let me remind you, you are already doing this unconsciously. You already hold dialogues in your head with people who are not present. You rehearse arguments, you replay memories, you imagine responses. All I am asking is that you take control of this power and redirect it. Instead of rehearsing problems, rehearse solutions. Instead of replaying rejection, replay acceptance. Instead of imagining defeat, imagine victory. Do this consistently, and you will notice something marvelous. The tone of your inner world will shift. Instead of walking through life heavy with complaint, you will find yourself uplifted by new worth. Instead of waiting for circumstances to validate your worth, you will already feel it within. And then, like a magnet, the world outside will bring you confirmation after confirmation. Understand this. The new conversation is the seed of a new identity. Every time you say within yourself, I am strong, I am prosperous, I am loved, you are clothing yourself in a new state of being. And life does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. When you carry yourself as the one who already possesses the desire, then the desire must appear. And so I urge you, guard your new conversation as you would guard a precious treasure. Do not let the old story creep back in and steal it from you. When you catch yourself drifting into the past, stop at once and return to the dialogue of your choice. Let no idle words slip by unchallenged. Let no negative script go uncorrected. Speak only that which lifts, only that which builds, only that which affirms. And remember, this is not a matter of straining or forcing, it is a matter of gentle persistence. Like a gardener pulling weeds and planting flowers, you simply replace the unwanted words with the desired ones, again and again, until your inner landscape blooms with beauty. Do this for 3 days, my friends, and you will feel the shift within. Do it for 3 weeks, and you will begin to see the evidence without. Do it for 3 months, and your entire life will be transformed. So here is your task. Create a new conversation. Make it bold. Make it joyful. Make it rich with the fragrance of your fulfilled desire. Speak it morning and night. Speak it when you walk, when you wait, when you drift into thought. Let it become the music of your soul. For what you say within yourself, you shall soon live without yourself. The words you plant inside are the harvest you will gather outside, and the conversation you create today is the destiny you will walk into tomorrow. Create a new conversation, and you create a new life. 4. Feel the tone of victory. My friends, once you have created a new conversation within yourself, the next step is to breathe life into it. For words alone, though powerful, are not enough. Words without feeling are like seeds left on dry ground. They may be scattered, but they do not take root. To bring your inner dialogue into full power, you must clothe it with emotion. You must feel the tone of victory as though it were already yours. You see, the great secret of creation is not merely to speak, but to feel. Your heart must participate in the conversation. Your body must sense its truth. Your soul must resonate with it. When the words you say to yourself are spoken in a flat, lifeless manner, they remain only on the surface of the mind. But when you infuse them with genuine feeling, they sink deep into the subconscious, and the subconscious is the fertile soil where transformation begins. Think of the difference between someone who says, "I am successful," with a sigh of doubt, and someone who says, "I am successful," with joy in their voice and triumph in their heart. One is a hollow sound, the other is a declaration of power. One fades into nothing, the other reshapes destiny. So when you hold your new conversation, do not speak it as though it were a possibility. Do not whisper it as if you are asking permission. Speak it with the confidence of one who knows it is already done. Let every word carry the vibration of fulfillment. How do you do this? By entering the feeling of the wish fulfilled. By imagining what it would be like if your desire were already a fact, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. If you desire wealth, do not merely say, "I am abundant." Close your eyes and feel the joy of seeing your account full. Imagine the ease with which you pay every bill. Hear the laughter of relief as you live without financial worry. Let your body relax as though the burden has already lifted. This is the tone of victory. If you desire health, do not merely say, "I am strong." Feel the lightness of a healthy body. Sense the freedom of moving without pain. Taste the sweetness of vitality. Breathe deeply as though life itself flows through you with energy. Let your entire being rejoice in the sensation of wellness. This is the tone of victory. If you desire love, do not merely say, "I am cherished." Feel the warmth of affection surrounding you. Imagine the joy of companionship, the laughter shared, the quiet comfort of a loving embrace. Let your heart swell with the certainty of being chosen and valued. This is the tone of victory. The words are the doorway, but the feeling is the key that unlocks it. Without feeling, the words remain cold. With feeling, the words ignite. Now some will say, "But I do not know how to feel it. It seems so far away." And I tell you, it is not as hard as you think. You already know how to feel joy, gratitude, relief, excitement. You have experienced these emotions before. Simply borrow them, direct them toward your new conversation, and let them mingle with your words. For instance, recall a moment of triumph from your past. Maybe you passed an exam, received an award, accomplished a goal, or overcame a challenge. Bring that feeling back, that surge of pride and joy. Now attach it to your present affirmation. Say, "I am victorious." While holding that memory of triumph, your subconscious does not know the difference. It only knows the vibration. Or take a moment of gratitude from your life. Perhaps someone helped you, or you received an unexpected blessing, or you felt deeply loved. Recall that feeling of thankfulness, that warmth in your chest. Now let that gratitude flow into your affirmation. Say, "I am blessed beyond measure," while your heart swells with remembrance. At once the words come alive. This is how you feel the tone of victory. You borrow emotions you already know and apply them to the new reality you are creating. And here is another secret. Your body helps shape your feelings. Stand tall when you affirm. Breathe deeply. Lift your head. Smile as you speak. Let your posture declare triumph. You will find that when your body takes the stance of victory, your mind quickly follows. I tell you this, the world responds not to what you say, but to what you truly feel. You may speak wealth, but feel poverty, and life will reflect poverty. You may speak health, but feel weakness, and life will reflect weakness. You may speak love, but feel rejection, and life will reflect rejection. But when your words and your feelings are united, when your inner dialogue is clothed with the tone of victory, then nothing can stand in the way of its expression. Let us practice it now. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine that your greatest desire has already come to pass. Do not think of it as in the future. See it as completed. What would you feel? Relief, gratitude, joy, excitement. Let that feeling rise within you. And now in that feeling, say to yourself, it is done. I have it now. This is my reality. That is the tone of victory. Do not underestimate this. It may sound simple, but it is the difference between barren words and fruitful words. It is the difference between dreaming and creating. So I give you this challenge. For the next 3 days, when you hold your new conversation, let every word carry the vibration of fulfillment. Refuse to speak in the tone of lack or doubt. Even if you must act the part of one who already has it. Speak joyfully, speak gratefully, speak triumphantly. If you will do this, you will notice the shift almost immediately. The heaviness will lift, the struggle will fade. You will feel yourself already in possession of what you seek. And when you feel it within, the outer world must conform. It is the tone of victory is the secret ingredient. It is the fragrance that makes the invisible flower real. It is the melody that makes the silent song heard. It is the life force that takes your words from mere sound to living power. So my friends, never again speak in the tone of defeat. Never again affirm with doubt in your heart. Take your words and clothe them with triumph. Let your conversations resound with gratitude, joy and certainty. Speak as though it is done, feel as though it is done, and soon the world will show you that it is done. This is step 4. Feel the tone of victory and your words will not fail. 5. Replace doubt with certainty. My friends, having recognized the power of inner speech, having stopped arguing with reality, having created a new conversation and filled it with the tone of victory, you now come face to face with the great adversary of transformation, doubt. Doubt is subtle. It creeps into the cracks of your mind when you are tired, when you are vulnerable, when you have begun to hope. It whispers, what if this isn't true? What if it doesn't work? What if you're only fooling yourself? It points to the evidence of the senses and says, see, nothing has changed. And if you listen to it, if you give it power, then your inner victory begins to crumble. But I tell you, doubt has no authority except the authority you grant it. Doubt is nothing but the echo of your old conditioning, the residue of past conversation. It is a ghost, loud, yes, but powerless, unless you let it live. And so the 5th step is this. Every time doubt arises, replace it at once with certainty. Do not wrestle with it. Do not argue with it. Do not analyze it. Simply declare, it is done. I have it now, and then return to the conversation of your choosing. You see, certainty is not the absence of questions. Certainty is the refusal to entertain them. It is the choice to rest in the truth of your desire, no matter what the senses say. It is the inner stance that says, this is mine. I need no evidence. I need no permission. I need no validation. I know it because I have accepted it within. And what I accept within must show without. When the farmer plants his seed, he does not dig it up every hour to see if it is growing. He trusts the process. He knows that beneath the soil, unseen, life is working. So he waters, he waits, and he remains certain. Doubt never enters his mind because he knows the seed will obey its nature. So too with your inner speech. Once planted, once clothed with feeling, it must grow. Your only task is to remain certain. But you may say, how can I feel certain when I do not yet see it? And I answer you, certainty is not born of sight. It is born of choice. You choose to believe. You choose to accept. You choose to rest in the invisible, knowing the visible must follow. When doubt whispers, what if it doesn't happen? You answer, it already has. When doubt says, but nothing has changed, you reply, everything has changed, though you cannot see it yet. When doubt says, this is foolish, you declare, This is true. Replace every word of doubt with the word of certainty, swiftly and decisively. Do not wait for doubt to grow strong. Catch it in its infancy. The moment you hear it, answer it. Do not let it linger in silence, for silence is its food. Speak against it. Speak with authority. Speak with conviction, and the doubt will wither. Here is a simple practice. Carry with you a phrase of certainty, a short, powerful declaration that you can use at any time. Something like, "It is done. I have it now," or "All is unfolding perfectly," or "I already am." The moment you feel the shadow of doubt, speak this phrase aloud if you can, or silently if you must. Let it become your sword against the intruder. Understand this: certainty is not arrogance, and it is not delusion. Certainty is alignment with truth. For the truth is that your inner acceptance is already the seed of your outer experience. To doubt is to deny that truth. To remain certain is to cooperate with it. And certainty has a fragrance, a vibration, that the world cannot resist. People are drawn to those who carry it. Doors open for those who walk in it. Circumstances rearrange themselves for those who stand in it. The world bows before the one who knows, for knowledge carries authority. Think of the times in your life when you were absolutely certain of something. Perhaps you knew without question that you would succeed at a task. Perhaps you knew that someone loved you. Perhaps you knew that you would overcome a challenge. That certainty gave you strength, focus, and persistence. It carried you through obstacles, and in the end, your certainty was justified. Now apply that same certainty to your new conversation. Refuse to waver. Refuse to hesitate. Refuse to go back and forth between belief and unbelief. A divided mind cannot create. A double tongue cannot build. Only the steady voice, the unwavering word, has the power to shape reality. So when you affirm your desire, do not leave room for if. There is no if. There is only is. Do not say "I will have." Say "I have." Do not say "it may come." Say "it has come." Do not say "someday." Say "now." This is certainty. And when the world tests you, and it will stand firm. When the bill arrives, say "I am provided for." When the pain comes, say "I am whole." When the loneliness whispers, say "I am loved." Speak the opposite of doubt. Replace it instantly, and refuse to give it power. Do this, and you will find that doubt grows weaker, and certainty grows stronger. At first, you may have to replace doubt dozens of times a day, but as you persist, doubt will fade, until certainty becomes your natural state. And when certainty becomes natural, manifestation becomes natural. Manifestation becomes inevitable, for the world cannot resist the one who knows. So my friends, step 5 is this: replace doubt with certainty. Do it quickly. Do it consistently. Do it with conviction. For every shadow of fear, shine the light of truth. For every whisper of lack, declare abundance. For every lie of weakness, affirm strength. And as you stand in certainty, the universe will stand with you. 6. Persist until it hardens into fact. My friends, by now you have spoken the new conversation, clothed it with victory, and replaced every whisper of doubt with certainty. Yet there remains one final ingredient, without which all else collapses: persistence. Persistence is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the hand that holds the seed in the soil until the harvest appears. Without persistence, desire remains a passing dream, a spark that fades in the wind. With persistence, that same desire becomes an unshakable reality. You see, the mind is like a field. Whatever you plant, it will grow. If you care for it, if you water it, if you protect it from weeds. But too many begin the work and then abandon it halfway. They affirm for a week, they feel victorious for a moment, they stand certain for a day. And when nothing appears, they give up. They say, "It did not work." But the truth is not that it failed. The truth is that they did not persist long enough for the invisible to harden into the visible. Persistence is faith in action. It is the steady refusal to be moved by appearances. It is the unwavering choice to remain in your inner conviction, no matter how loudly the outer world protests. Think of water dripping on stone. One drop does nothing. 10 drops leave no mark. But drop after drop, day after day, wears a groove so deep that even the hardest rock yields. So too with persistence. Your steady inner speech, your consistent tone of victory, your constant replacement of doubt with certainty, these will wear down the old patterns until they collapse entirely, leaving only the new reality standing. Let me tell you, reality bends to persist. The world may resist you at first. Old patterns may cling. Old voices may rise. Circumstances may tighten in opposition. But if you persist, if you refuse to give up, everything must eventually yield. For the outer world has no choice but to conform to the inner truth that is sustained without wavering. Now persistence is not a matter of strain. It is not forcing. It is not struggling. It is not pushing with gritted teeth. Persistence is gentle, steady, consistent. It is like the heartbeat. Quiet, unbroken, tireless. You do not even notice it most of the time, yet it carries you through life. So when I speak of persistence, I do not mean that you must fight or labor endlessly. I mean that you must simply return again and again to the conversation of your choice. No matter how often you are distracted, no matter how many times the world tempts you to doubt, you gently return. You keep the inner dialogue alive. You refuse to drop. If you imagine yourself successful, persist in that image. If you affirm wealth, persist in that affirmation. If you feel love, persist in that feeling. Do it today, do it tomorrow. Do it next week and continue until the world itself bows to your persistence. Remember this, everything in the outer world is slow compared to the speed of thought. The inner world is instant, but the outer world moves with time. And so there is often a delay between inner acceptance and outer expression. That delay is the testing ground of persistence. Many fail here. They see no change and they give up. They say this is not working, but persistence is precisely what proves your faith. If you only believe when you see results, then you do not truly believe. True belief persists when there is no evidence, and that persistence is what brings evidence into being. So I tell you, make persistence your companion. Hold fast to your new speech until it becomes natural. Repeat it until it feels effortless. Let it accompany you in the morning, in the night, in the quiet moments between tasks. Do not let a day pass without reaffirming your vision. And when circumstances rise against you, persist. When people laugh at you, persist. When your senses scream the opposite, persist. When nothing seems to move, persist. For persistence wears down every resistance, breaks every wall, dissolves every obstacle. Think of a sculptor with a block of marble. The first strike of the chisel shows nothing. The second, still nothing. But blow after blow, piece after piece, the shape begins to emerge. The sculptor does not stop because the block resists. He persists, knowing that within the stone lies the masterpiece. So too with you. Within the stone of your present reality lies the masterpiece of your desire. Persist, and it will appear. Let persistence become joy for you. Do not think of it as endurance, but as creation. Every affirmation is a brushstroke. Every feeling of victory is a layer of color. Every moment of certainty is another thread woven into the tapestry. And day by day, moment by moment, your masterpiece takes form. I want you to understand this deeply. Nothing can withstand persistence. No obstacle is eternal. No resistance is unbreakable. If you will not give up, you cannot be defeated. Let us practice now. Think of your desire, the one you have chosen. Feel it again as though it were already yours. Speak it within yourself. Feel the tone of victory. And now tell yourself, I will persist until it hardens into fact. I will not give up. I will not turn back. I will hold this truth until the world confirms it. Do this daily. Make it your oath. And when discouragement comes, recall this. Discouragement is only a sign that you are close. Resistance tightens before it breaks. Darkness deepens before dawn. The moment you feel tempted to give up, that is the very moment when persistence is most needed. Stay steady. Stay faithful. Stay persistent. For I tell you, if you will persist, if you will continue in your chosen conversation, clothed with victory, anchored in certainty, your desire must become fact. It is law. This, my friends, is step 6. Persist until it hardens into fact. 7. Live from the end. My friends, persistence anchors you to your vision. But now I invite you into a higher practice, one that transforms your very way of being. Step 7 is this. Live from the end. What do I mean by this? To live from the end is to occupy in thought, feeling, and action the state of already having what you desire. It is to place yourself mentally at the finish line and live as though the race has already been won. It is to breathe, to walk, to think, to speak, as though your desire is already fact. You see, too often people live toward the end, always striving, always waiting, always reaching for what seems distant. But to live toward the end is to live in lack. It is to affirm that you do not yet have, that you are not yet complete, that the goal is still beyond you, and what you affirm inwardly, you perpetuate outwardly. But when you live from the end, you reverse the current, you place yourself in the very state of fulfillment. You carry yourself as one who already possesses, already enjoys, already has arrived. And by this inner stance, the outer world is compelled to conform. Think of it this way. If you had already achieved your desire, how would you feel? How would you speak? How would you move through your day? How would you respond to challenges? What thoughts would fill your mind? To live from the end is to adopt those feelings, those thoughts, those responses now. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Do not wait for the evidence to change your feeling. Change your feeling and the evidence will follow. For the world is not the cause, but the mirror. And if you will look into the mirror with the eyes of one already fulfilled, the reflection must eventually show the same. I say to you, step into the role of the person you wish to be. Play it with conviction. Let the play become real to you until it is no longer acting but being. This is the great secret. You are not becoming, you already are. You need only assume the end and live from it. Now some will say, but is this not pretending? Am I not deceiving myself? And I answer no. Pretending is to play without belief. Living from the end is to accept within what is not yet visible without. It is not deception. It is creation. Consider the actor on the stage. When he fully enters his role, he does not merely recite lines. He believes, he feels, he becomes. And though the play is staged, his performance carries power because he inhabits the state. So too with you. When you live from the end, you inhabit the state of your desire, and that state calls forth its own reality. Living from the end is more than visualization. It is identity. It is shifting your sense of self. If your desire is wealth, then live from the end by assuming the identity of one who is already prosperous. Let your thoughts, your inner speech, your emotions align with that truth. If your desire is health, then live from the end as one already whole and strong. If your desire is love, then live from the end as one already cherished and secure. This does not mean that you spend money you do not have, or ignore the conditions of the present. It means you carry inwardly the consciousness of already being fulfilled, regardless of appearance, and that consciousness will shape the outer world accordingly. Here is a simple practice. Each night before sleep, place yourself in the end. Imagine with full feeling that your desire is already realized. Hear the congratulations, feel the relief, sense the joy, see yourself living in the outcome, and then drift into sleep, as though it were true. This practice, repeated faithfully, dissolves the gap between inner acceptance and outer expression. But more than at night, live from the end throughout your day. When you face a challenge, ask yourself, if I already had my desire, how would I respond? And then respond in that way. When doubt arises, ask yourself, if it were already done, would I worry? And then let go of worry. When you speak with others, speak with the quiet confidence of one who already possesses. Do this, and you will find your entire being shifting. Anxiety will give way to peace. Striving will dissolve into rest. Fear will vanish before assurance. For you will no longer be chasing, you will be living. And let me tell you, the world recognizes this stance. People can feel when you live from the end. They may not know why, but they sense your certainty, your composure, your authority. They treat you differently. They respond to you differently. Doors open, opportunities arise, because you carry the vibration of fulfillment. Now understand, living from the end does not mean ignoring the present. It means reinterpreting the present through the lens of fulfillment. If you face a delay, you say, this too is part of the unfolding. If you encounter resistance, you say, even this is shaping the outcome. Nothing shakes you, for you are already at the end, in consciousness. This is the key. The end contains the mean. If you will occupy the end, the path will reveal itself. Too many try to figure out the how. They worry about the steps, the timing, the method. But the one who lives from the end rests, knowing that the means are already included. The way will open when it is needed. Think of a traveler with a destination. When he sets his GPS for the end, he does not worry about every turn before it comes. He trusts that the system will guide him step by step. So too with you. Set your inner state to the end, and life itself will guide the way. So I ask you now, what is your end? See it, feel it, enter it, not as a distant dream, but as a present reality. Walk in it, rest in it, live in it, and refuse to step out. Let the world say what it will. Let circumstances shout their contradictions. Let delay tempt you to surrender. Hold your place, remain in the end, and the end will soon reveal itself in fact. This, my friends, is step 7. Live from the end. Do not live toward it. Do not hope for it. Do not chase it. Live from it. Let it be your dwelling place, your identity, your atmosphere, and as surely as the sun rises, your world will reshape itself to match. 8. Let go and allow. My friends, you have persisted. You have lived from the end, and now we arrive at one of the most liberating steps. Let go and allow. Up to now, you have learned to shape your inner conversation, to assume the victory, to live in the state of fulfillment. But even with all of this, there's a danger that you may cling too tightly, that you may try to force what should flow. And when you force, you strangle. When you cling, you block. When you obsess, you delay. Step 8 is the art of release. It is the decision to trust the process so deeply that you no longer grasp with anxious hands. It is the recognition that once you have assumed the end, it is done, and you may now rest in that knowing. Think of planting a seed. You place it into the soil, you water it, and then you let it be. You do not dig it up every hour to see if it is growing. You do not demand that it sprout instantly. You trust the unseen process beneath the surface. You allow the natural forces of life to do their work, and in time, the seed breaks forth into the light. So too with your desire. Once planted in the fertile soil of imagination, once accepted in your inner being, it is already growing, already moving toward manifestation. Your part is to remain faithful, to persist in the state, but also to release the anxiety, the grasping, the constant questioning of when and how. Let go of the how, let go of the when, let go of the urge to control every detail. Life has a wisdom beyond your conscious mind. It knows the perfect route, the perfect timing, the perfect unfolding. And if you will allow, if you will trust, it will bring forth the fulfillment with a beauty and perfection far greater than your limited planning could desire. But some will say, if I let go, does that mean I stop imagining, stop affirming, stop persisting? No. To let go does not mean to abandon. It means to rest in assurance. It means to stop worrying, stop checking, stop doubting. It means you no longer look for results with anxious eyes, but carry yourself with quiet confidence. Imagine this. A builder is hired to construct your home. You give him the design, the resources, the agreement. Do you then hover over him every hour, demanding updates, doubting his skill, panicking that the house will never be finished? No, you trust him to do the work. You may check occasionally, but your heart rests, knowing the project is in good hands. So it is with your desire. You have given it to the infinite builder of life itself. Trust that it is being constructed. Rest and let it unfold. Now hear me clearly. Letting go is not passivity, it is power. For when you let go, you release the tension that resists. You open the channel for flow. You allow the invisible to move freely into form. Anxiety is like a knot in the rope. Release the knot, and everything runs smoothly. Letting go also means detaching from outcomes. Do not cling to one rigid form of fulfillment. Perhaps you imagine your success coming in a certain way, through a certain channel, by a certain time, but life may have a greater path, a higher route, a more perfect expression. If you cling to only one way, you may block the better way that is trying to reach you. Therefore, be definite in your desire, but flexible in the unfolding. Hold the end firmly, but let the path remain open. Trust that the wisdom of life will weave the details in ways you cannot foresee. Let me give you an image. Picture yourself floating on a river. The current knows where to go. If you fight, if you thrash, if you struggle to control every twist, you exhaust yourself. But if you relax, if you trust the current, you will be carried smoothly to your destination. Letting go is surrendering to the current of your own fulfilled state. This surrender is not weakness. It is strength, for it requires great confidence to trust, great courage to release control, great faith to allow the unseen to act on your behalf. Now, how do you practice letting go? First, notice your thoughts. If you find yourself worrying, questioning, doubting, remind yourself it is already done. Breathe deeply and return to calm assurance. Second, release the constant checking. Stop asking, why hasn't it happened yet? That question only affirms. Instead, declare, it is unfolding perfectly. Third, occupy yourself with joy. Do what uplifts you. Do what inspires you. Do what makes you feel alive. When you fill your days with joy, you leave no space for anxious waiting. Another key, gratitude. Gratitude is the language of letting go. When you give thanks as though it were already done, you release the need to chase. Gratitude affirms that it is finished. Each day, pause and say, thank you for my fulfilled desire. Thank you for this reality. Let gratitude be your song, and life will answer with harmony. Do not confuse letting go with indifference. Indifference says, I do not care. Letting go says, I know it is mine. Indifference is cold and passive. Letting go is warm and confident. One shuts down desire, the other fulfills it. And let me tell you, the moment you truly let go, something shifts. You feel lighter. You feel free. You stop scanning the horizon for results. You carry yourself with ease. And then, without warning, the outer world begins to move. Opportunities appear. People show up. Circumstances align. And because you are no longer clinging, you are able to receive them. Think of the child waiting for a gift. If he cries and begs and demands, he is restless and unhappy. But once he trusts, once he knows the gift is coming, he relaxes, he plays, he enjoys the moment, and suddenly, the gift arrives. Such is the way of letting go. It opens the door for life to deliver. So I urge you, plant your seed, water it with persistence, and then release it. Trust the soil of imagination. Trust the laws of life. Trust the unseen hand that moves all things. Let go and allow. Say to yourself, I have done my part. I have assumed the end. I have persisted in faith. Now I release the rest. I let life bring it to me in perfect time, perfect form, perfect way. I trust and I allow. This is the rhythm of creation, desire, assumption, persistence, release. Just as the breath has inhale and exhale, so too creation requires both effort and surrender. If you only inhale, you suffocate. If you only exhale, you collapse. But together in balance, there is life. Step 8 then is your exhale. It is the moment you rest, you trust, you allow, and in that rest, in that surrender, the unseen becomes seen. So I say to you, let go, allow, rest in assurance. For the moment you do, you will discover that life was always on your side, always working for you, always eager to deliver the fullness of your desire. This, my friends, is step 8. Let go and allow. 9. Watch the world respond. My friends, we have traveled far together. We began by mastering our inner speech, learning to plant seeds in the silence of the mind. We persisted, we assumed, we released, and now we come to a moment of revelation, watching the world respond. This is the step where the invisible becomes visible. This is the point where what you have nurtured within begins to show itself without. And let me remind you, it is not magic, nor accident, nor coincidence, it is law. The outer world is nothing but the reflection of your inner state. Imagine standing before a mirror. When you smile, the reflection smiles. When you frown, the reflection frowns. You do not question how the glass knows. You do not beg it to change. You do not accuse it of resistance. You know it is only reflecting what you present to it. Life works in the same way. The world is your mirror. It cannot reflect anything but what you are within. So when you begin to shift your inner conversation, when you begin to live from the end, the mirror must respond. People must play new roles. Circumstances must rearrange themselves. Opportunities must unfold. For the mirror has no choice. It can only echo the truth you hold inside. But here is the beauty. The world often responds in ways that surprise you. You may expect a certain path, a certain channel, a certain person to deliver your desire. Yet the mirror finds the shortest, most natural route. Life will bend, people will move, doors will open, all in ways you could not have predicted. That is why this step is so vital. It trains you to watch with eyes of faith, to recognize the reflection when it appears, even if it wears a disguise. Consider the farmer. After planting, he does not demand the crop appear overnight. He watches for signs. First the soil breaks, then the sprout, then the stalk, then the fruit. Each stage is a response, a sign that the seed is alive. So it is with your desire. You may first notice small shifts, a chance meeting, a word spoken, a sudden inspiration. Do not dismiss these as random. They are the first green shoots of your harvest. Now many will miss this step. They say, I affirmed, I persisted, but nothing is happening. And yet if you look closely, life is already whispering. The world is already turning in your favor. Because it does not come in the exact form you demanded, you overlook it. Do not make that mistake. Watch with wonder. Watch with openness. Watch with trust. Train your eyes to see the evidence of your inner work reflected all around you. Let me give you an image. Suppose you throw a stone into a lake. At once, ripples begin to move outward. They may take time to reach the shore, but they are moving. They are spreading. They are inevitable. So it is with your inner assumption. The moment you accept it as true, the ripples begin. Events are set in motion. People are stirred. Circumstances shift. Even though you may not see it at once, the ripples are on their way. Step 9 is about recognizing those ripples. This requires patience, yes. But more than that, it requires awareness. For the world is always speaking to you, always responding, always echoing. If you will listen, you will hear its voice. Some of you may say, but what if the world reflects back something I do not want? Does that mean I have failed? Not if it simply means an old assumption is still echoing. An old seed is still bearing fruit. Do not despair, for just as a farmer clears the weeds, so too can you. Simply persist in the new state, and soon the old harvest will fade, replaced by the new. Think of it this way. The reflection in the mirror lingers only as long as you hold the expression. Change your expression, and though the old face may seem to linger for a moment, the new must appear. So it is with life. This step is not about straining to see results. It is about watching with calm assurance, knowing they must come. It is the joy of expectation, like a child waiting for a long-promised gift. He does not doubt it. He looks for signs of its arrival with excitement. And let me emphasize this. Do not measure results by size. Do not say, this is small, this is insignificant. Every shift, no matter how small, is evidence of the law in motion. Celebrate it. Give thanks for it. For when you celebrate the little, you invite the greater. Gratitude multiplies. For example, if you seek abundance, and suddenly you find a forgotten coin in your pocket, rejoice. That coin is the first ripple. If you seek love, and suddenly a stranger smiles at you, rejoice. That smile is the first sprout. If you seek health, and suddenly you feel a moment of relief, rejoice. That moment is proof of movement. The world is not against you. It is for you. It longs to give back exactly what you assume within. It cannot help but obey. So in step 9, I urge you, become a watcher, a witness, an observer of life's response. Wake each day with expectation. How will the world reflect my inner truth today? Carry yourself with anticipation, not anxiety. For expectation is faith in action. And when the response comes, whether in whispers or in shouts, acknowledge it. Do not say it is coincidence. Do not say it is chance. Say instead, this is my inner world made visible. This is my assumption bearing fruit. This is the law at work. The more you do this, the stronger your faith grows. For faith is not blind. It is built on experience. As you see the mirror reflect, as you see the ripples reach the shore, you no longer need to strain. You know, you trust. Now let me address something vital. The temptation to rush. When the first signs appear, Some will panic, thinking the rest will never come. But hear me. If the sprout has appeared, the harvest is certain. Do not uproot the plant in doubt. Do not abandon the process midway. Watch patiently, joyfully, confidently. The world is responding. Allow it to complete its work. So I say to you, step 9 is a sacred moment. It is the joy of watching the invisible clothe itself in form. It is the wonder of seeing life obey your inner word. It is the recognition that you are not a victim of circumstance, but the master of reflection. Watch then with gratitude. Watch with wonder. Watch with patience. Watch with faith. For the mirror never lies. It only shows what you present to it. And as you watch, you will find yourself laughing, smiling, even shaking your head in amazement. For you will realize that life has always been faithful, always been precise, always been the perfect echo of your inner state. This is step 9. Watch the world respond. 10. Live in the fulfillment. My friends, we now arrive at the final step, the culmination of all that has been shared. Step 10. Live in the fulfillment. This is the crown of the journey, the point where inner practice becomes outer life, where what you once longed for is now the air you breathe, the ground you stand upon, the reality you embody. From the beginning we have spoken of planting seeds, guarding the inner word, persisting, and watching the reflection. But now I tell you, the highest act is to live as though the harvest is already yours. To step into the role, to wear the garment, to inhabit the state fully and without hesitation. Living in the fulfillment is not pretending. It is not play acting. It is not wishful thinking. It is possession. It is ownership. It is moving through life with the calm certainty of one who knows the victory is already achieved. Let us take a simple example. Suppose a man has won the race, though the crowd has not yet heard the announcement. Does he tremble in doubt? He stands tall, for he knows the finish line has been crossed. That is how you must live, not as though you hope to win, but as though the prize is already placed in your hands. Step 10 calls for a shift in identity. No longer are you someone striving, seeking, waiting. You are now the one who has, the one who is, the one who lives from the end. And when you live from the end, everything you do, everything you say, everything you touch, bears the fragrance of fulfillment. Ask yourself, if my desire were now a fact, how would I walk? How would I speak? How would I carry myself? And then do it. Walk that way, speak that way, carry yourself that way. This is not arrogance, but alignment. It is not boasting, but embodying. Some will ask, but must I wait until the evidence comes? And I say no. For the evidence comes because you live in the fulfillment, not the other way around. The world mirrors your inner being, remember. So if you dwell in longing, the world reflects longing. If you dwell in fulfillment, the world reflects fulfillment. This is why many never cross the threshold. They continue to ask, when will it come? How will it come? That question is the voice of one still waiting, still doubting. But fulfillment does not wait. It simply is. When you assume the state of the fulfilled, you silence the question. You live as though it is done, and the mirror must show it done. Let me give you an image. Imagine wearing a garment. If you wear the garment of wealth, though the pockets may at first be empty, you carry yourself differently, you think differently, you speak differently, and soon the pockets will not be empty, for the garment itself draws the reality to match. The same is true with health, love, success, freedom. Clothe yourself in the state, and the world must supply the evidence. But here lies the challenge: to remain in fulfillment, even when the outer world tempts you with contradiction. To continue walking as though it is done, even when the senses whisper otherwise. This is the discipline of step 10. To hold the tone of fulfillment so steadily that the world has no choice but to conform. When doubt rises, answer it as one already fulfilled. When fear whispers, silence it with the voice of triumph. When delay seems long, remind yourself the seed is alive, the harvest is certain. The fulfillment is already within. For fulfillment is not a destination you reach. It is a state you inhabit. It is not something far off in the future. It is here now in your mind, in your word, in your heart. Live in it, and the outer world must align. Let us consider the one who seeks love. To live in fulfillment is to speak, act, and feel as one already loved. No more begging, no more grasping, No more chasing. Instead, there is a quiet dignity, a calm assurance, a radiant confidence. And soon the reflection appears. People respond. Love flows. Companionship arrives. Or the one who seeks health. To live in fulfillment is to walk with the energy of wholeness, to speak with the tone of vitality, to act as one already restored. And soon the body follows. The cells respond. The strength rises. Or the one who seeks abundance. To live in fulfillment is to move with generosity, to think with plenty, to carry yourself as one who lacks nothing. And soon the doors open. The opportunities arise. The channels of supply appear. Fulfillment is not passive. It is active, alive, expressive. It shines through your eyes. It vibrates in your voice. It colors your choices. The world cannot ignore it, for it is too real, too strong, too magnetic. Now hear me clearly. Living in fulfillment is not about forcing conditions. It is not about pretending circumstances are different. It is about embodying the truth that circumstances must yield to the inner state. It is about knowing that life has no choice but to reflect what you persist in being. So in step 10, we put down the posture of the seeker and take up the posture of the finder. We stop asking and start being. We stop longing and start living. We stop waiting and start walking as though the dream is reality, for it already is. And as you do this, something miraculous happens. Peace floods your heart, for the struggle is over. The striving ceases. You are no longer running toward the finish line. You are standing in it. You are no longer climbing toward the summit. You are looking from it. This peace is not laziness, not passivity. It is the peace of victory, the calm knowing that the battle is won, the prize is secured, the story is complete, and from this peace flows power. For when you live in fulfillment, you stop scattering your energy on doubt, fear and complaint. You gather it into a single point, a single state, and life rushes to mirror it. So let me ask you, will you continue as one who waits? Or will you rise as one who has? Will you live as though your dream is always tomorrow? Or will you live as though it is now? The choice is yours, and the moment is now. Step 10 is the closing, the sealing, the final movement. Live in fulfillment, walk in it, speak in it, rest in it. For when you do, the world cannot help but bow, bend and reflect the truth you embody. And so as we conclude this journey, remember the power has always been within you. The world has never been against you. Life has only ever reflected the state you dare to assume. Assume fulfillment now, and you will live in a world that mirrors nothing but your victory. Live it, own it, be it, and watch the fulfillment will not only clothe your inner world, but it will fill your outer world with evidence too beautiful to deny. This is step 10. This is the closing note. Live in the fulfillment.